Did you just purchase the Silhouette Curio 2, or maybe you're thinking about purchasing the Silhouette Curio 2? Let's go ahead and unbox it and make our first cut. First, let's discuss how big this machine is. As you guys can see, this box is massive. This machine weighs around 28 to 29 pounds. So you guys can see this box is big. So you guys are going to need to find a space that is designated to this machine, and you're probably gonna wanna leave it there. Now let's go ahead and unbox it. I'm just gonna take something sharp. You can take a pair of scissors, and first thing we're gonna do is cut into the tape. So we're gonna start getting this thing so we can just initially get it open. Now you guys let me know in the comments below, did you already purchase this machine? Are you unboxing it with me as we go along? Or is this something that is on your wish list and you're trying to decide if it's right for you? Got that tape cut open, so now let's dig into it. So we're gonna open up that lid. There is no pretty way to unbox this through camera, okay? So we're just gonna do this together. So we're going to get this flap without hitting my camera. It's just so big. So I think what I need to do is figure out which side's the top, so that way I can lay the box in that direction. So I think it's gonna go this way. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna carefully start to tip it, once again, trying not to get my camera up above. All right, then I'm gonna spin it around. All right, so we're gonna get that flap down just like that. So now we're completely clear. I'm gonna try to tilt this and see if I can start to shimmy shake it down. Shimmy shaking's working. You wanna make sure you're staying on the table, so I've pushed this forward. I'm gonna lift it up and I'm gonna continue to get it out of here. Now, I would say this is probably a two-man show. If you had somebody to kind of help you guide it out, it would be even better. Woo! My friends, this is not another boring unboxing. We are here at Crystal Land to make this fun, and we're very, very real. So here we go. Now to catch my breath for just a second, let's go over what we see first. Then we're gonna take off the foam and we're gonna get this thing plugged in. So the first thing that I can see here is, I believe this is the ES mat, electrostatic mat. This is something new. This is new technology from Silhouette. So we're gonna get into that in just a bit. So I'm gonna set that out of the way. Over here in another little cubby, we've got a little bag of goodies right here. So let's go ahead and open these up and see what is included. Inside of your bag, you are going to find part of your cord. So this is part of our power cord. We've got some tape here that's gonna help tape down some of our substrates. We've got a blade adjuster as well as that auto blade. This auto blade is the exact same one that is in our Cameo 4 and all of our other machines. Also included in this bag is our how to register our Silhouette, getting started, and then our safety instructions. Right over here, we've got another little cubby box, and this should be the other half of our power cord. So we're just gonna pop this open, and that is correct. So inside here, you're gonna find the remaining part of your power cord. So this piece is going to plug into this piece. From what I can see, that was everything in these little cubbies. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the styrofoam. Now that I've got rid of that styrofoam, I've brought her front and center so we can check this out. So all we have remaining is that plastic, so I'm gonna take it off. At this point, you should come across a piece of paper right here in the front that is going to warn you to remove these screws right here. So you've got these two metal plates and then these little screws like this that you're simply gonna remove. These are just here for shipping purposes. So if you plan on possibly traveling with this anywhere or shipping it at all, you may want to hold on to these and store them with wherever you put your Silhouette supplies. We're going to remove that paper and then all of the remaining blue tape. Now I'm going to go ahead and carefully slide this forward. I'm going to scoop this one and get the one from the back. So this has like a little piece of cardboard plastic, if you will, in between these slats here. So you wanna make sure you get those out as well. I'm gonna carefully push this back and then I'm gonna get the next one. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and get my ES mat out of here so we can load it. Now the really cool thing about the Curio 2 is you have a removable tray. So this is going to be your ES mat, and then you're also gonna have a crumb tray, which I believe is gonna be for your engraving tool. So you may wanna check that out and snag that at the same time. Once you pull off that plastic, you're gonna come into this piece right here. This is going to be your protective cover. At the show, I was actually calling this the mat. I thought this was the mat. But this is the mat, okay? This is the mat, this is your protective cover, and there will be replacements of these. So if you ever accidentally cut too deep and cut into it, or after a while you need to replace these, they're gonna be in a 2-pack that you can snag for those as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. Now let's go ahead and get ready to load our ES mat in here. But before we do, make sure right under your housing that you grab out that piece of styrofoam. So there is a piece of styrofoam right underneath there. I didn't see it a second ago because I'm working from the back here. You would see it from the front. But make sure you remove this or your ES mat is just not gonna slide in anyway. So now we're just going to slide it right in place. What this reminds me of, as you guys can see right here, it's pretty thick. It reminds me of that clear plastic that goes on like the clear coffee tables or the dining tables, if you will. My grandma had some of this stuff. So it's very thick like that, or like a very thick shower curtain, much thicker than a shower curtain. So this is just our protective cover that will go over this, which won't stick just yet until we get that electric charge going on, which we're fixing to try out. So now it's to the time, let's plug it in. While we get ready to plug this in, I wanted to go ahead and briefly mention that if you guys have already been using a Silhouette, you already have the software, make sure that you update it to the most recent version because it's going to support the newer machines. You can also download Silhouette Go. They have updated that app as well to support the newer machines, and they've added some new features, like you can actually turn it in landscape mode and some stuff with text and all that. So make sure you check that out. Now, if you're brand new to Silhouette, this is your very first Silhouette machine, make sure you download the most recent software, like I said, so it can support your machine. First things first is we are going to connect these 2 pieces of the power cord. Then I want to connect this piece to the machine, and then I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. When it comes to plugging in your machine, you're going to find that stuff over here. Once again, if you're looking at the front, it's going to be on the right. If you're looking from the back, it's going to be on the left-hand side of your machine. You're going to find your power button as well as your plug-in for your power and your USB. When it comes to setting up your brand new Silhouette Curio 2, keep in mind that they no longer include the USB cable. These are things that we have a million of. If you've owned previous die cutting machines or printers, you probably already have several of these laying around, or if not, at least one of them. If not, you're gonna wanna snag one, which I will link down below. So hopefully you guys can pick this up over here on camera. So this is going to be your buttons to move it forward and backwards. You can see that the Bluetooth is flashing, ready to go. And then you're gonna have your information for your electric charge here, so we can turn that on. So if we move this, this is going to move our bar. So that's going to be your arrow. So if I wanna move it a little bit, I can just push it, hold it down to get it to move much faster. So eventually it'll take off and really start to move. So if I want to move the housing over, same thing. So I can move it over with those arrows just like that. Let's go ahead and check over on Silhouette Studio to see if it's found our machine so far. I've not done nothing but turn it on. You can see that the Bluetooth is flashing. I know that when these first launched, they were available right away, and they were in the process of updating the software, so you had to, I believe, set it up with your USB. But I believe right now, currently, as I'm recording this, that you do not have to, that you can set it up with Bluetooth. So once again, I've done nothing but turn it on. So let's just peek over here at Silhouette Studio and see if it's found our machine. First thing I want to point out right away is that if you even just have your Silhouette Studio pulled up and you come over here to your page setup and you choose your machine, you're actually now going to see the Curio 2, the Cameo 5, the Portrait 4, whereas before I even plugged this machine in, those were not even an option, and I had already downloaded the updated version, but it was not showing those until I turned this machine on. So I'm pretty sure it's found my machine. But let's go over to the send button just to see if I'll be able to pull it up. We're going to come right down here, click on our machines, and then it's going to search. So right now it's scanning to see if I have something else going on. So far it's found my Curio 2, as you guys can see right here with the Bluetooth. It says available. So I'm going to click on that, and now you guys can see that it has changed my mat over to the Curio 2. So like I said, as we speak, you do not have to set it up with that USB. It should be able to find it with that Bluetooth. Once you plug it in, you're going to also notice that it says firmware update available. So let's go ahead and update that now. That's one of the first things that you're going to want to do. So it's warning us in red. Don't switch off the Curio 2 because it's updating that firmware for us. So it's obviously done its updating. So now it's bringing it forward and back on its own. So we're letting it do its thing. So let's go ahead and insert that auto blade. So for that auto blade, you know what housing it's gonna go into because it has a number. So I'm gonna bring it up here really quick. So this is your auto blade, and hopefully you can see that here, but there is a 1. So if it's gonna go in the 2, it would have a 2, but this is gonna go in the 1. What you need to do is pull out. So you're gonna pull out on this little piece here. You can hear it click in and out. You pull it out, you're gonna drop it in. You're gonna kind of push on it just a little bit, not hard, just making sure it clicked in, and then you're gonna push in just like that. It's good to go. You're gonna pull on it just a little bit, make sure it's in there. We're ready. Speaking of blades, let me talk about some fun stuff. These are not available yet, or by the time you're watching them, they may be available because they are supposed to be releasing in fall. If they are, you're gonna find them linked down below. But you are gonna now have some power tools that are gonna go right here inside of your housing, and they are going to be electric. So it's really cool because there's these prongs now on your housing, as well as on the back of that tool. It doesn't need a cord, but it will give it power. So you're gonna have an engraver. You are going to have a foiling tool. You are going to have an embossing tool, as well as a hole punch for all kinds of really fun projects. So this right here, the Curio 2, who is it right for? Really quickly, who is this machine right for? This is going to be for somebody that is wanting to work on those thicker projects. For example, with our Silhouette Cameo 5 or the previous models, your Portrait 4, you are not going to be able to put something thick inside of that machine. With this machine, you're going to be able to put something with 20 millimeters thickness. So this version versus the Curio, the very first one, this now allows 20 millimeters thick. So you can put canvases underneath here and have it draw so you can paint that. Or maybe you're going to do your wood signs, your wood rounds, and put them on here and have it draw so you can go ahead and paint those. So many possibilities, or you're going to add foil to it, which is what I would love to do. So for example, I'm going to get some journals. I'll be able to stick a nice thick journal in here and have it foil on there. But the possibilities are going to be endless with this machine. Not to mention, they also were talking about, with this being a flatbed, so if I'm going to be using something like iron-on or vinyl, with this machine, I don't have it going in and out of my machine. Like with the Cameo 5 or the Portrait, it's not going to go in and out of my machine like this. This is completely flat. So as it's getting cut, the only thing that is moving is this. So I don't have to worry about this shifting on the mat because the only thing that is moving is this top bar. So that's just something else to keep in mind. So you're gonna get better cuts, especially whenever it comes to paper. This is going to be amazing for our print and cut projects, as well as paper flowers, you name it. And on top of it, with this ES technology that they have came up with, this electrostatic mat, we can cut multiple layers of paper. That is crazy. So we're going to be able to knock out so much more with this. On top of their IPT technology is going to tell this machine how to cut this the most efficient way to get nice, clean, crisp lines. All we have to work with today is going to be that auto blade because I'm waiting on the other ones to come in. So stay tuned. Lots of fun videos to come with this one. But we are going to go ahead and test out. I want to test out iron-on. Is it going to work good with iron-on? I want to know. Will it be able to hold down with that static cling? Now keep in mind, if you guys are even purchasing the Cameo 5 or the Portrait 4, and you guys are going to be purchasing the optional ES mat, because you can get that as well. I think it's called ES bed maybe too. But anyways, you're going to be wondering, will it work with the HTV iron-on, or is it going to work with vinyl? So we're also going to be testing out some Oracle 631 today. So we're going to try out vinyl, HTV, and I'm also going to go ahead and try out a print and cut project. Let's go ahead and test out heat transfer vinyl first. So I'm going to find my design. I've already got it right here, and I'm going to bring that in. Once again, you can see that I'm working on that Curio 2 mat. For this design, it's actually in 2 pieces. So I need to separate these. So once you've sized that out, I'm actually going to come up here to the ungroup. Now that I've hit that ungroup, let's go ahead and select those pieces and scoot them off the mat. So I want to keep those together. So I'm actually going to go ahead and click on those pieces individual, hold down that shift, select the next one, my little ghost, as well as that last bat. So on those, I'm going to go ahead and come up here and I'm going to group those selected together, those pieces selected together. And then I'm going to go ahead and take them off the mat so we can get ready to cut this piece first. Now let's go ahead and mirror. So I'm just going to select my design. I like to come right up here to the top, click object. I'm going to come to mirror and I'm going to flip horizontal. Before I forget, I'm gonna go ahead and select that next piece, come up to the top again, mirror horizontal, just like that. And that way I don't forget when I come back for it. All right, so let's get ready to go. So now we're gonna go ahead and hit send. From here, you're gonna see the red outline, so it's automatically ready to go. So I'm gonna go over to material and I'm gonna type in heat transfer vinyl. I'm using the Caesar Sparkle. This is glitter, but it's not the thick glitter. So this feels identical to the regular Caesar Easy Weed. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose Heat Transfer Smooth. Now let's go ahead and get ready to start that electric charge on our mat. So what we're gonna do is turn on the button. It is the very first one right here. You're gonna take that cover, that clear protective cover, and we are going to put it down. So the longer this is on, the more electric static charge you're gonna get. So at first you may notice that it's gonna move around. Just be patient. I can feel it starting to resist a little bit. So you guys can play around with it, get yours on, start to play around with that a little bit and see that it's starting to get that charge. So I'm gonna let my charge up just a little bit. And then what we wanna do is we wanna go ahead and remove all of the bubbles. So you may notice some bubbles underneath there. You just simply wanna make sure your mat is on there nice and straight. And we're just gonna take our hands and start to smooth everything out. Once you have all of those air bubbles smoothed out, you're gonna notice now we cannot move that protective cover. So what we wanna do is take our heat transfer vinyl face down like we would normally load it on a sticky mat. So I'm gonna get it right up here at the top and you're gonna notice that this should start to cling to it. So I'm gonna get it right at the top and just smooth it out. Just like we did with that protective cover, you're going to double check it, make sure there is no air bubbles or anything, and you should not be getting any sort of shifting. Same thing, the longer this mat is on, the more electric static charge that we have going on. So you may want to power that up while you're designing, have your protective cover already on it with the air bubbles out, so you already have that nice charge going on. So before we hit go, make sure those air bubbles are out and it's smooth. So we are ready for our very first cut. Here we go, moment of truth, let's go ahead and cut it out. So we're gonna go ahead and hit send. Now keep in mind, when you set your material to heat transfer vinyl, it's going to ask you to send it mirrored or send as is. I like to mirror mine right inside of Silhouette Studio so I do not forget. But if you are somebody that doesn't wanna do that, you can definitely mirror it right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and send as is. Now with the Curio 2, it's gonna go ahead and double check us and make sure everything is correct. So it's saying, number one, make sure that you have loaded your heat transfer vinyl on the electrostatic bed. It's going to say load the auto blade in the carriage 1, automatic material thickness detection enabled. So what's really cool about this is it automatically can detect the thickness. That's what I absolutely love about this Curio 2. So no matter what size materials you're working on, so if I have a journal that is super thick or super little, this machine's gonna know. So that's exciting in itself. All right, so we're ready. We've double checked all of that. So let's go ahead and hit send. Here we go, moment of truth. We're gonna find out how this thing cuts. Now, one thing I want you guys to keep in mind with the Curio 2, it's not super loud in any sort of means, so hopefully you guys can pick up on that sound, but this is not going to be as quiet as the Cameo 5 or the Portrait 4, so I want you guys to keep that in mind. So you do have a little bit of sound, but nothing like before. So they have actually redone the housing and the belt drive that is in these machines, so it's actually quiet in a sense, but hopefully you guys can hear that. So it does have some sound, but it's not overly overwhelming, if you will. Okay, so I think we are done. I'm so excited. I think it's fixing to come back over here and let us have it. Now, here we go. So in order to remove this, you're gonna notice it is stuck. To remove this, what you wanna do is just simply turn off your bed. So you can just kind of turn that off, which it may have turned itself off. I think I just turned it back on. So whenever you do that, you're gonna be able to easily just pick this up and remove it. Look at that, I don't have to peel it off that sticky and all of that stuff. Now I'm gonna keep mine on because we are fixing to load our next piece. So let's go ahead and see. Oh my gosh, it looks awesome. I'm gonna set that aside and I'm gonna go ahead and load my next piece of material. So we're gonna double check ourselves since I turned it off. Make sure I didn't get any air bubbles underneath. I'm gonna get it up here in the corner. So you really wanna make sure that you're paying attention and getting it up there in that corner. And so then I'm just gonna smooth everything out, make sure I've got no air bubbles. Let's go here. So we're gonna go back to design. I'm gonna go ahead and just move this one out of the way, get it off of our mat, and then we're gonna move this one back on the mat. So I'm gonna get it on here where I wanna cut it. All right, so now that I've got this moved over here, let's do the same thing. Let's go ahead and hit send. Playing around with my first cuts, I've changed it. It's still on heat transfer smooth, but I have it at the blade depth of 4, and I brought my force up to 28. My speed's at 9, so I'm gonna go ahead and send it one more time. All right, so let's unload it. Now the machine does it. The mat turns itself off so we can go ahead and remove it. Now you can hear that electrostatic, but I'm gonna turn mine back on. I need it to stay on because we're gonna load it one more time. So I believe this should be a good cut. So I'm gonna test it, and then I need to recut out my pink piece. So let's go ahead and test this out. And this is why you should always do test cuts and play around with it first. So this looks amazing. So let's go ahead and keep waiting it out. There we have it. How perfect is this? So once again, if you guys are watching this unboxing video just because you want to see the ES mat and you're waiting for it to come out to use with your Cameo 5 or your Portrait 4, you're gonna love it with the heat transfer vinyl. So save these settings if you guys are new to Silhouette and you don't have your very own. One thing that you can do once you have your settings, so mine is a blade depth of 4, my force is 28, and then my passes is 1, speed is 9. To save this, all you're simply gonna do is save as, and then we can actually save this so we know what it is for later. You're gonna make sure that you choose your machines, and then we're gonna go ahead and change these. My force is set at 28, so I'm actually just going to select that, put in 28, make it a whole lot faster, and then I'm gonna go ahead and change my blade depth to 4. Just like that. My speed, I have it set at 9, and then my passes is 1, of course. So now I'm gonna go ahead and save, and that is for carriage 1. So whatever you're wanting to, so say for example, I'm working with a power tool, I need to save those settings for carriage 2, you can do that. If you have the older versions, you could definitely choose those machines as well. So now these settings have been saved for me, so I don't have to change them every single time. Now I had a question the other day of, could we use a brayer to smooth it out? So very carefully, no pressure. I'm gonna go ahead and try it to see. Hey, and it looks great to me. So I'm gonna link this down below for you guys in case you're curious. So this is actually gonna help quite a bit. So if you guys wanna use a brayer, but once again, don't do super, I would not do a lot of pressure on this mat, but nice and easy to help glide those out, I would definitely check it out. So there you guys have it. How super cute is this design? If you guys are interested in this design, you guys can snag it. I'll have it linked down below. This is from one of my favorite designers, Diva Watts Designs. It is so cute. 2 pieces. Adorable, but you could do whatever colors you wanted to on this one. This one's gonna be perfect for a kid's shirt, so I'll be putting this on there. But as you guys can see, I was able to cut out 2 pieces of heat transfer vinyl back to back. Now, I honestly would still even bring the force up just a little bit on this Caesar Sparkle, so I'm probably gonna set that one and name it Caesar Sparkle. I'm probably gonna do a force of 30, and it should be absolutely perfect. Now I'm gonna go ahead and load my material right up in that same corner. What I did here, any edges that had a little bit of a curl, I actually went ahead and trimmed them off. You could either smooth them down or just trim those off, and that's what I did because you wanna make sure you have a nice, smooth, you wanna make sure that you're getting that grip between that static connection there. So I'm gonna go ahead and load this on the corner. I'm gonna pull out that handy dandy brayer again. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just make sure that everything is nice and smooth and there's no air bubbles. For our next design, this one here is from Wispy Willow. I'll also have it linked down below, and you can also snag this one on Etsy. So I'm just gonna line it up here, get it at that corner. I've already sized it out to what I want it to be. So for this one, I don't need to mirror it because it's just adhesive vinyl. So we're gonna go ahead and hit send. From here, I'm gonna change my material. So I'm gonna go over here, and we are now gonna type in vinyl. For this one, this is matte, so I'm just gonna go ahead and choose vinyl matte. We're gonna test it out. I've got the blade depth set at 3, I've got the force set at 15, and then I've got my speed at 9. So I'm gonna test it just like that. So I'm double checking, everything is good to go. So let's go ahead and hit send. I'm really excited. Once again, whenever you first get into using a silhouette, you definitely wanna play around with those cut settings, and once you have it perfected, you want to save those. So for this one, I'll name it Oracle and it'll be matte, but I can probably use it across the board. So always use those test cuts to play around with them, use some scrap vinyl and get those settings nailed down, because honestly, if you always use the same materials, whether you're using Caesar, Oracle, etc., it's always going to be the same cut. So we're going to go ahead and let this cut out and see how it goes. Here we go, moment of truth for the vinyl. I'm gonna go ahead and remove it. I absolutely love not having to remove this and peel it off of the sticky mat. It's awesome, look at it, it's straight, it's amazing. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim this down and we're gonna test it and see if that was enough. I was actually hoping that it wasn't too much, and so far, obviously it wasn't cut all the way through. As you guys can see, it looks great, so let's weed it and see what we got. How perfect is this? So cute. Throw it on a sign and we've got some decoration. So once again, definitely check out this design as well. But adhesive vinyl, we are good to go. So with this one, I'm actually going to bring my force up probably 1 or 2 more. So I was at 15, I'm gonna do 16 or 17 just to have an absolute perfect glide. So right now I'm just starting to dial in my numbers, but we are gonna start getting into Silhouette Studio right here on the channel. So if you guys are curious and you wanna see more videos with the Silhouette Studio, teaching you guys all the tips and tricks for setting up all of your settings and all of that stuff, let me know in the comments below. Now let's work on our very last test for today, which is going to be the print and cut. This is the one I'm super excited to really test out as well. I'm super excited about it all. So with this one, I wanted to show you really quick before I just get all the way in this without showing you. I'm gonna do a sticker sheet. So I'm bringing these designs in individual. How do you bring them all in on one sheet? If not, it's gonna open up several individual tabs. Once you already have your mat started and you are adding designs in here, what you want to do is come up here to File, and you actually want to go down to Merge. So whenever you select Merge and I go in here and I select another file, it will add it to this mat. So if you don't, and you actually come up here to File and you go to Open, and we say, for example, click on this one, we click Open, it's going to open a separate mat. So you guys can see that there. We don't want that. We want it on the exact same mat. I'm going to hit Don't Save. There we go. So once again, you're going to use Merge. So I'm going to go ahead and add one more. So let's try it again. File, Merge. And then let's go ahead and add this super cute cat on here. I just want to do a couple so we can see them here. All right, we can see the outline of these. These look really, really good. I'm happy with it. Let's get ready to go. Before we hit send, there's a few things that you have to do to get ready for print and cut. So we're actually gonna come over to page setup. We're gonna go to the very last one right here, which is our registration marks. So I wanna go ahead and turn those on for our print and cut. Now that I've got my registration marks turned on, I can see that I'm a little bit on the outside of that red line. So I'm just gonna bring everything inside of my work area. We'll bring everything down, make sure nobody's overlapping anybody. I think this looks great, so let's get ready to send it over. So we are gonna go ahead and hit send. I'm gonna come up here to my printer. I'm gonna click on it. You can see everything looks great. This is where you can double check yourself again. We're gonna go ahead and hit print. From here, it's gonna pop up your printer settings. Everything looks good, so I'm gonna hit print. As you guys can see, my printer's already pulled that in there. The sticker paper that I'm using, I'll link below. I actually use label sheets from Amazon. If you guys have been following me for a long time, you guys know it's my absolute favorite. You can add laminate sheets on these to make them holographic or glittery and all sorts of fun stuff, but I really just love to use the label sheets because you can get so much bang for your buck. All right, so it's almost ready. Now these designs, I'll also have linked down below for you guys. These are from Tara Reid. There's a lot more images than these. These are just a few, but how cute are these? So adorable. So we have our electric static charge. I'm going to double check that we are turned on. It is. It's turned on, ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and load my sticker paper up here in the corner. I'm going to let it start to get that charge there. I want to give you guys a quick tip here. My sticker paper, as you guys can see here, is a little wonky. So the box that I actually store these in are not completely flat, so it kind of got a little bit wonky here. So I think you guys can see that there. I've got a little bit of a bow going on there. So I cannot get this to be smooth. So here's the tip. You want to take either the included tape that you're going to get with your machine when you first get it. You can actually purchase more if you'd like. Or I'm going to simply take washi tape. That's exactly what it is at the end of the day. So I'm going to take a piece of washi tape, the exact same length of my paper here, and I'm going to go ahead and tape it down. So now that I've done that to that side, it has grabbed it. I could feel, it's not just the tape. The tape's now holding it to where it could grab that traction. So this side is really good. So I'm going to do the same thing to this side. We're going to choose sticker paper white. I've went ahead and changed that blade depth to 3, and then I've changed the force to 17, and then my speed is 8. So I'm going to test that out and see what we have. I think we're good to go, so let's go ahead and hit send. Same thing as usual. With the Curio 2, it's going to double check us. With that ES matte in general, I imagine it'll do the same thing with the cameo and the portrait, just to double check yourself. So let's go and see what happens. Now, speaking of the print and cut, Silhouette is actually improved. So now if you use holographic or glitter sticker paper, it can actually read it a whole lot better. Now for the moment of truth. You guys can see it's perfect. I love it so much. Oh my gosh, yay! So we have tested out 3 different products from the print and cut with stickers, as well as HTV heat transfer vinyl, and then the adhesive vinyl. Now, once I get all of those really fun tools in, we're really gonna dive into this machine and really figure out how to engrave acrylic. We are going to be working with some wood. We are going to be drawing on canvases and all sorts of fun stuff. So if you guys want to see more on the Curio 2, make sure you guys comment down below that you want to see this Curio 2 back on the channel and you want to see more projects. If you guys are purchasing one or you own one and you have any questions along the way, feel free to comment down below and let me know, and I will definitely try to answer those for you. If you plan on purchasing the Curio 2 or any of the brand new Silhouette machines, please consider using my link down below. That's what helps this channel grow, and you guys are going to absolutely love the companies that I do recommend down below. They are phenomenal whenever it comes to shipping and getting your items to you very, very quickly. If I have any sort of discount codes and coupon codes, you guys can find that over on my fan membership. That's where I keep all of that stuff. If you guys have not checked out my Besties membership, I highly recommend that you do. I have free printables. There's a lot of fun stuff going on over there that I can't tell you here. It's for besties only. You'd find out only if you're a bestie, and they definitely know. It's really, really good stuff. You get free PNGs and SVGs every month. Lots of fun goodies going on, so definitely make sure you check that out. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.